Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, I will be reading from the r/EntitledPeople subreddit, and today I have 3 stories for you, all written by the same OP, all regarding the same entitled aunt. So let's jump into it. Entitled Aunt wants my SO and I to help with their down payment since we did not offer my home. I come from South Asian background. In my culture, families tend to live in multi-generational homes with their siblings, which is nice, but can also create a sense of entitlement to other people's things. My immediate family, parents, and brother grew up in the US since I was in 1st grade. Majority of my relatives lived in our home country until a few years ago when they moved to where my family and I are. I own a 2-family home that was purchased over 8 years ago. The home was purchased well before my aunts and uncles moved to the States, and they in no way helped with the purchase. For some reason though, they thought that when they moved to the US, they would be able to live in my home. I said no, for various reasons not limited to seeing how they did not take care of their own home back in our home country, no guarantee they would actually pay rent, and did not want to mix family with this kind of thing. Currently, one of my aunts and her family are looking to buy a home. They have gotten rejected a couple of times due to low offers, so are now asking relatives to give them cash to increase their offers. Had dinner with my parents with one of my aunts and some members of her family. At dinner, my aunt asked me if I could help. I told them we cannot. We have a wedding to pay for, and our own goal of purchasing a new home in a few years. Aunt responded by saying, "You really don't have any extra money? Doesn't your SO have an inheritance that she could use to help us out? You didn't let us live in your home, and we had to rent out elsewhere, so you should at least help us out here." To that I answered, just because we have money saved up does not mean we want to give you 20K. The money we have saved up is for our own goals and emergencies. As far as my SO's inheritance, that really isn't your business since it's not really even my business. That's SO's inheritance, and not an emergency fund for people to use. For context, the only reason my aunt knows about my SO's inheritance is because my SO mentioned it to my mom once when talking about her grandparents who the inheritance is from. She never even mentioned an amount. My mom must have mentioned it to the relatives. Funniest part about all this is that I don't even like these relatives. Only reason why I keep in touch or help out with other things, job applications, help with schooling, taking cousins to the movies, is because my mom asked me to just see them once in a while, and because I do care about my cousins who shouldn't be blamed for their parents' shittiness. If they were decent people, we would try to help. However, they are generally selfish and entitled. Even if we offered a lower amount than the 20K requested, they would just act pissy about it. Entitled relatives demand we pay for their wedding outfits, or they will not attend my wedding. I come from a South Asian background. In my culture, at least from the area my family is from, weddings are very much an event for the entire village. Usually the wedding is in the village itself or at a local community center. I went to my home country around 2013 and attended 2 weddings while there. I was definitely not formally invited and had no idea who the bride and groom were. It is nice to have so many people there and have a community feel. However, it is not as organized. There are no bands/DJs, and food is usually a couple of items made in very large quantities. It is fun in its own way, but very different than weddings in the US. I am getting married in a couple of months. It will be more of a US style wedding. I am incorporating some things from my culture though, such as my outfit and part of my SO's dress and jewelry. As part of the wedding, we sent out the usual save the dates, change the date due to the big C, and invitations. We have not heard back from any relatives from my dad's side of the family. My mom told me the reason my dad's siblings have not RSVP'd is because they expect us to pay for wedding outfits for all of my aunts and female cousins. They want outfits that will be in the $200 to $300 range. I have 5 aunts and 10 female cousins, so it would not be a small amount of money. My mom told them that that was not happening since it would cost me so much, that this was not a wedding in our home country, nor is it a traditional wedding in our home country style. Even if it was, that is a ridiculous ask for us to spend $3,000 to $4,500 on their dresses for them to come to our wedding, on top of already, paying for the wedding. I only invited them because of my parents. Otherwise, doubt I would have invited them at all. So if they don't come, completely fine with me. I told my mom that if they bring it up again, she should mention how it is also customary from where we are from for aunts and uncles to help with the wedding costs too. Entitled Aunt wants a fancier wedding for her daughter and wants my dad to pay for it. My family is from a South Asian country. It is a culture where there are multi-generational homes and traditional, close-knit family structures. One of the traditions, at least with my family, is that when someone in the family is getting married, the adult males, such as my dad, contribute to paying for the wedding. My cousin recently got married. The wedding was in our home country. My parents, my sibling, my wife, and I did not attend. Not because we had anything against it. It is just expensive and time consuming, involves about 14 plus hours of flying to go back to our home country. When the wedding was initially arranged and planning started, my dad said he would contribute $4,000. It's more than his brothers are contributing, but he is okay with it because he is the oldest. Also, $4,000 in our home country goes a lot further than in the US. And my aunt was completely fine with this amount initially. The problem started when my family attended my wedding a few months ago. It was a very nice wedding. So nice that a couple of weeks later, my aunt demanded my dad pay more so that her daughter's wedding can be more lavish than what they initially planned. By more, I mean $30,000. Not sure how she got to that amount. She basically saw my wedding and thought my dad had money to throw around. My dad refused, saying that he didn't help pay for my wedding. This was true, since my wife and I paid for about 95% of all the costs of our wedding. My mill paid for my wife's dress and for brunch for guests the morning after the wedding. She volunteered to pay for those things. We did not ask. We also did not ask my parents because they aren't well off. Just very frugal. Not sure why she thought he helped pay in the first place, since in our home country's tradition, the bride's family pays for the wedding anyway. Maybe she thought we did it differently since I married a Caucasian woman. Aunt took that answer and retorted that then he should have money to give since he didn't have to pay for mine. Have to love the reasoning there. My dad told her if they want a nicer wedding, they need to pay for it or ask someone else. They can take his initial offer or not. In the end, they took the initial offer. Based on the few pictures I have seen, they ended up with the initial wedding plans. I'm all for helping family that deserve it and or need help. But damn, this side of the family is entitled. At least it gives me some entertaining stories. So, let me get this straight. This aunt didn't contribute to OP's wedding whatsoever. In fact, she wanted OP to pay for her to attend in style, yet when the script was flipped, the aunt wanted OP's family to pay for her kid's wedding. The entitled logic never ceases to amuse me. Good for OP though for constantly standing his ground. I especially respect it because he married a Caucasian woman where these customs are unheard of, and it seems like he doesn't want to subject his wife to them. So, mad props to OP for protecting his wife from his aunt's extremely entitled requests. This story actually reminds me of last night when I was watching The Real Housewives, and one of the wives, who also comes from a culture like this, in which which they are expected to take care of their elders, got a boob job, and her 60-year-old mother saw her daughter's new boobs and stated that she too wants a boob job now. So her family has to pay for it or else she'll sue them. She literally said that. Pay for my new boobs or I'll sue you. I could not stop thinking, damn, that's a perfect title for a Reddit story. But anyways, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed these 3 entitled dance stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!